with that, let's start talking All Elite Wrestling. So All Elite Wrestling is a thing. We learned basically at the stroke of midnight that... Sorry, I was responding to a text message here. Anyways, so what happened was at midnight, we knew that there was going to be a special episode of Being the Elite. Most people assumed that it was going to be the AEW announcement, or at least, if not the AEW announcement, at least what Cody, the Young Bucks, and other members of Being the Elite were going to be doing following January 1st when they're all free agents. With that, Being the Elite starts off, and it's talking about, going through the countdown clocks. SCU, Frankie Kazarian's got a countdown. Christopher Daniels has a countdown. Scorpio Sky's got a countdown. And then you see Cody, Nick, Matt, and Hangman all gather in front of the Tokyo Dome. And they're like, okay, this countdown's done, but there's nothing here. That was anticlimactic. They all walk off. Then when they come back together, they're like, whoa, 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 look at your phones, look at your phones, look at your phones. You see Cody, Matt, and Nick's phone, and it's got the logo for Double or Nothing. They're like, what? Hangman, do you got this too? What's on your phone, Hangman? And as he turns his phone around, he goes, I got something different, guys. And he reveals the logo for All Elite Wrestling. Or should I say, AEW. So at that time, we're like, okay, so what now? And the episode ends. We learn nothing else. You jump on Twitter, and you find out, hey, Double or Nothing is going to be their next show. Double or Nothing, we don't know when it's going to be. Some are saying that it's rumored to be in May. Some are saying just springtime. With that, they do have a rally next Tuesday, basically at the TIAA Bank Arena, or Bank Stadium, my bad, in Jacksonville, Florida. They're going to do it in the parking lot. Big old rally. The funny thing is SmackDown will be in Jacksonville the same night, I believe, right across the street. Now, I see you guys have questions about AEW. I'm going to answer all those questions after we talk about everything we know. So, going forward, we're like, okay, so we know that AEW is a real company. Double or Nothing is their next show. More info on January 8th. Well, at the exact same time, if not a couple minutes before Being the Elite dropped on YouTube, Dave Meltzer's podcast, Wrestling Observer Radio, dropped stating, All Elite Wrestling announced. We listen to that podcast, and Dave says, I ran in to the Young Bucks at an arcade in Japan today, talked to Nick and Matt, and they told me basically everything they can. What Meltzer stated was Tony Khan, who is co-owner of the Jacksonville Jaguars, is going to be basically the president of the company. He's going to run the day-to-day business side of things for the most part. We then learn that they're looking to sign guys and girls to multi-year deals. Big money multi-year deals. At that time, at the stroke of midnight, Cody and a number of others had officially been signed, but not the Young Bucks. Because remember, the Young Bucks could not have formally been given contracts to sign till after January 1st began. Also, Dave Meltzer would go on to state that multiple TV deal offers were on the table for AEW, but he didn't know who. So, sit back. January 1st comes. We don't learn too much more yesterday. Then today, Raja.com drops a pretty interesting article stating Tony Khan, who is the president of the company, is putting in $100 million to launch the company. With that, it was reported initially that the company was going to be with Chris Jericho and Jim Ross. They are not the ones in charge of the company. It's Cody and the Bucks and Tony Khan. But Jim Ross is going to have some sort of a commentary and backstage role in the company, most likely starting in March once his WWE contract does expire. Also, they go on to state that Chris Jericho will have a pretty in-depth kind of, I guess you could say, role or relationship with All Elite Wrestling. And finally, sports agent Barry Bloom will also be working with the company to help recruit talent. And they're not just looking at current talent, they're also looking at legends that can partner up with AEW as well, and one that they think they can get, possibly, is Bill Goldberg. The reason they think it'll be pretty easy for them to get Bill Goldberg is that Barry Bloom is Bill Goldberg's agent. Excuse me. Also, they state that, yes, Cody, Nick, and Matt are considered executive vice presidents of AEW, but they're not going to be too worried about the business side of things. They're more worried about the creative and the TV side of things as far as wrestling goes. Cody will serve as executive producer of television and live events. The Young Bucks will basically be the heads of creative. Also, other members of the Elite, possibly like Hangman, and maybe even others when they come in, like Omega and Skrull, who are expected to possibly come in, will serve as producers, as well as members of SCU could also serve as producers. Another rumored name to serve as a producer backstage, or actually possibly a television executive for the company, is BJ Whitmer. BJ Whitmer just actually left Ring of Honor. He was doing a lot of backstage stuff at television for Ring of Honor and also helped out with All In. So that's another name that's rumored to be signing with All Elite Wrestling as well. Finally, one of the big things, Tony Khan has got a lot of pull in a lot of different places because he does a lot of different things business-wise. And apparently he's got some contacts at Time Warner that he's talking to about getting All Elite Wrestling on TNT and or TBS. We do know that they have a trademark for Tuesday Night Dynamite. So that could be their show. Now, I see a couple questions in the chat stating, are we going to get a new Monday Night War? No, not to my knowledge, because they're not looking to run up against the WWE. One reason I believe that they could be running Tuesdays is their show's not going to start till the fall. And with that, they're thinking, well, people have been conditioned since 2016 to watch wrestling on a Tuesday night. So if we fill that void when SmackDown moves to Fridays, bada boom, there we go. People are already used to watching wrestling on Tuesdays. So they slip their Tuesday Night Dynamite show in on TNT or TBS, and away we go. Also, we do know, according to that report from Raja.com, they're looking to go hard, quote-unquote, go hard on signing guys that are signed into WWE right now that they know their contracts are coming up soon, both in-ring talent and backstage people. So they're not afraid to go after anybody. They know with the $100 million they've got from Tony Khan, they can launch this company. If they sign a deal with Time Warner and get on TNT and or TBS, then that's big TV money coming in as well. That's really going to help with these, I guess you could say, contracts. Now, Dave Meltzer did confirm via F4W Online that Britt Baker has officially been signed to All Elite Wrestling, the first female confirmed other than Brandy, first female wrestler other than Brandy to be confirmed to the company. Meltzer did state, well, the article states that Meltzer said that Brandy will have a pretty big influence and role in the women's division of the company, and Matt Jackson's wife, Dana Massey, will also have a big role within the company, most likely working on the merchandising side, as she's basically the one that runs Young Bucks merch and has run that into $1 million, basically made that $1 million business. Finally, one thing we haven't talked about on the channel yet is an article that dropped from PW Torch. Wade Keller did report that they're looking to sign guys and girls to contracts right now, which are called not official contracts, but they're called holding contracts. What these holding contracts are, they are contracts where they're basically stating you sign this contract and you're agreeing to work for All Elite Wrestling, and until we do get a TV deal, you do not go and sign exclusive deals with any other pro wrestling company, MLW, Ring of Honor, New Japan, WWE, etc. What they're hoping is they sign talent to these holding deals. They run some events, they pay the wrestlers a downside guarantee even while they're not working for AEW, and once they get TV and an actual TV schedule as far as filming goes, taping schedule, then they could take that TV money and possibly pay just about everybody on their roster six-figure salaries. Now that comes from Wade Keller over at PW Torch. They're looking to pay guys upwards of six figures, and that's not just their top tippy-top guys, most, as if I read that article correctly, if I took into account exactly what he was saying. So with that, they're looking to sign a bunch of people to their roster. They don't know exactly when they're going to start filming anything. Double or Nothing may be announced next week. But as far as television goes, they're trying to confirm their TV deal, trying to lock that down. Once they do, then they can get a taping schedule in place, and then everybody will be officially signed to contracts with an actual money guarantee, more than what their downside is, I guess you can say, even when they're not working. So they're looking to, I guess you could say, well, I guess what it is, put guys on hold. Put guys on hold. So that way, once they can go 100% full bore, 150%, they've already got a roster. They know what they're going to be able to do. They know who they can work with and work on. So that is basically all we know so far of All Elite Wrestling. There's a lot to digest there. I know I kind of went through that pretty quickly, about 10 minutes or so. Thanos Troll says, will it be live? Nobody knows. Nobody knows if it's going to be a live show or if it's going to be a taped show. And we've learned with NXT, it doesn't matter. We learned with MLW, with Ring of Honor, it doesn't matter. Tape show or live show, it's still going to do pretty well. Even look at WWE. Excuse me. When WWE does those shows in the UK where they tape earlier in the day and then they air them about 5 hours later, people still watch. Ratings still stay okay. So I think even at first maybe tape it, do a tape show. Then maybe here and there you can throw out a live episode. But you don't have to be live every single week. We've learned with NXT. NXT's got a great following, and they're not live except for their takeover events. Also, the other question I keep getting asked is how many pay-per-views a year are they going to run? Who knows? All we know right now is they're trying to lock down a TV deal. Based off of the trademark they did file, they want TV on Tuesdays. And they're going to run Double or Nothing possibly in the spring. So again, that is all we know so far on All Elite Wrestling. If we do hear anything else, of course, we're going to let you guys know. The face in the chat says 100 million can launch a football league. No one wants 100 million could do wonders for a wrestling company. Exactly. Exactly. Now, the 100 million is the start. Tony Khan and his whole family are worth $6.3 billion. So if they do need to slide a little more money in there, they can. But the hope is to get this TV deal signed as soon as possible. So then that's revenue coming into the company. That's revenue coming in that they're not having to expedite out, if that makes sense.